So how did the matter with brother go?
Serious charges have been dropped, and the rest will be handled by the higher-ups.
Oh. You asked me to come out so late. Do you have something to say to me?
Kaiyan, we agreed not to quarrel again. Tonight, I'll try to stay calm. And I hope that you'll stay rational as well.
What have I done wrong this time?
Engineer Feng resigned. I suppose you know the reason better than I do.
You went to find her upon coming back?
Yes, I went to find her. If she leaves, our work at the pier will come to a halt.
What happened?
She hadn't wanted to see me at first. She agreed to stay only after I mentioned the ministry leader who transferred her. But she said that if anyone bothers her with matters outside of work again, she won't stay for anyone.
So you called me out in the middle of the night so you could warn me. What is Zhao Feng to you? Why are you so protective of her?
Kaiyan, do you even feel guilty after everything you did? Didn't you just promise me that you wouldn't cause a din again? And are you aware your behavior has badly affected the operations of Donghai plant and my work?
Don't use your work as an excuse. The woman has come in between us. Am I supposed to suffer in silence? Yeah, I did go find her. I only told her to keep a distance from her male leader. Was that really out of line for me to do? She's a single woman who's unmarried, and she's surrounded by male colleagues at her workplace. At the very least, she should be self-disciplined, you know? That was all I told her, and yet she wanted to resign. Doesn't that show she's guilty?
I already told you, Kaiyan. Xiao Feng and I are just ordinary colleagues. Why won't you believe me when I tell you that?
What is an ordinary colleague, then? You mean an ordinary colleague will just talk with her male leader in a small room in the middle of the night? Will an ordinary colleague simply just run around joking with her male leader then? Will an ordinary—
I've already explained it to you. Xiao Feng has a tomboyish personality. That way she gets along with all her colleagues. She's a woman who manages hundreds of male employees. If she has to consider all that, how is she supposed to work? Moreover, other family members are fine with it. So why are you bothered by it?
Would she go shopping with other men and buy their clothes? Why are you so quiet now? Didn't you have a lot to say? Xiao Feng admitted it. She admitted that she picked out my coat together with you, Yunhui. Yet you told me you were shopping separately.
You went through the trouble of looking for her to verify that?
I already know that everything you tell me is lies. I didn't expect you to keep such a trivial matter from me.
Fine. What other doubts do you have? Ask them all in one go.
You know perfectly well what you did, Song Yunhui. Tell me, apart from shopping with her, what else did you do? When did the two of you get together?
That's enough. Yes. Your coat was picked by Xiao Feng, but it was just a shopping trip with the colleagues before the flight. Xiao Feng merely gave me advice. And it hadn't been a big deal, but I didn't tell you about it, because you're suspicious all the time like you are now.
Why is it always my fault again? Will you only admit it if I actually catch you both in bed?
Cheng Kaiyan. In your mind, am I really that vile? Fine. Since you're so inquisitive, go ask Fang Ping then. Just go ahead and ask him what I did when I was abroad. Go see if those things are exactly what you think.
Fang Ping? You still dare to mention Fang Ping? When you went to the city to buy me nail polish, Fang Ping told me you went to the city for a meeting. You still want me to ask him? In order to butter you up, your subordinates will result to lies. Song Yunhui, you can absolutely brush me off now. But I'm not some kind of pushover either. I've tolerated you for long enough. Something serious happened to my family, yet you didn't say anything about it afterwards. You brushed my family off with a small sum. Did I say anything about that? This time, I tried telling you for a month, don't take her abroad, don't take her abroad, but what did you do? You understand me? Do you take my feelings seriously? Do you at least still regard me as your wife, Song Yunhui?
Let's get divorced then.
What did you say?
Since you feel so anxious and unhappy when you're with me, what's the point of us being together?
You actually want to divorce me because of her?
It has nothing to do with all of that. Even if Xiaofeng resigned, you'd be suspicious of people. Even if all these problems were solved, you'd be unhappy about other things. Do you really believe there's still a need to continue this? With day after day of suspicion and contempt?
Song Yunhui, is this your attitude towards marriage? I get it now. I'm going to move out tomorrow.
You don't have to. I'll leave.
Then leave right now!
What are you
Sister-in-law.
doing back here? Let me help you with that.
Oh, no, it's all right.
Goodness, you should have called home so your brother and I could have picked you up, you know.
You don't have to.
Did you come back here alone?
Yeah.
Dad! Mom! Come out here! Look who's back in town today! My girl!
Hi,
wait,
Dad.
dear,
Give it to me. I'll help.
It's fine. Thank you.
Where's Xiaolei?
I came back home alone.
Oh, why did you wear so little clothing?
Oh.
My dear, your hands are ice cold.
Listen, dear, give her some medicine, okay?
Right.
I have a little cold.
Tell me, dear,
Yes?
why are you back today? Spring festival break?
Well, I have some office leave to clear out or it'll expire. Besides, I miss you, so I came back to see you. How are you? Are you better now?
I'm fine, don't worry about me.
You didn't bring Xiaoyan with you? You know, dear, we miss her every day. Does she still play the piano?
Yes, she loves playing it.
Oh.
She's been taking classes. Here. Thank you, sister.
Kaiyan, you should have told us you were coming today. Your brother could have fetched you from the bus station.
That's
By the way,
right.
didn't Yuan Xiang buy clothes for Xiaoyin? Show them to your
Yeah, that's
sister-in-law,
right.
huh?
I plan to send them over to you. You came at the right time. Let me go and get them.
Don't bother, sister.
It's no trouble. I can go back and see if your brother's back. Once your brother finds out you're back, I'm sure he's going to be very happy. I'll be back soon.
Take your time.
Okay.
Hey, has my brother and his wife been all right?
Of course they're doing fine. Everything's been going their way. I don't think they can be even more satisfied. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Your dad always says you're busy and tells me not to bug you.
Oh, I'm so forgetful. I've totally forgotten about it. Twins' grandpa gave you this medicine, Dad. It enriches your blood, Dad. It's good for health. Here, take the prescription. Just buy the medicine after it's finished.
Oh,
Take it
okay.
every day, okay?
Okay.
Xiaohui's parents are rather kind. Xiaohui only agreed to help your brother because his parents went over, right? Your dad and I know about it. And it's all thanks to you. If we didn't have a good daughter like you, then we wouldn't have overcome this crisis.
I was of no help at all.
What do you mean you didn't help? Your brother could go and sell his stuff, and we owe it all to your secret efforts.
What happened to my brother's goods?
Well, all the rebars and cement that your brother brought back then were finally sold off. Xiao Yang from Yanzi Street helped him sell every piece. Your brother got to know many people after he followed them, and we no longer have to worry about this business.
Yang Shun? Yes, Yang Shun helped brother with his business.
Yes.
That's right. He's a friend of Song Yunhui. He helped your brother for the sake of helping Song Yunhui as well. And it's obvious why Song Yunhui did all of that. Apart from us, your brother and sister-in-law know the reason why as well. My dear, what would you like for dinner? I'll cook for you tonight. Oh, look at you. You've lost weight since I last saw you.
I love anything you cook, Mom.
Okay.
Well, I'm a little tired from my trip. I'll go in and have a nap.
Oh, sure, okay.
I'll make the bed for you.
Remember to take the medicine.
I'm fine, I'm fine.
And then I'm going to use that. Oh my. Please, sir, have a seat.
What's wrong? Aren't you pleased with the translation? Huh?
When we use the Japanese equipment in the future, there'll be many chances for us to interact with them. Well, as the old saying goes, language shapes national character. I just learned that.
That's why I found you admirable all these years. We both learn language, but people's abilities really do vary.
I can't help much technically. I can only work hard on things like those manuals. Please have a seat. You need to talk to me?
No, I just verified the ticket information with Mr. Song. I dropped by here on the way out to see if the senior leader has any requests.
I was about to look for you. Look, Gao. Winter in the peninsula is much too cold for anything. The office building as well as the factory dormitory were built during the rush period. There's no insulation on the outer wall. Look at the cooling tower over there. So much heat has been wasted in vain in that place. I think we should follow the old rules of Zhongyuan plant and conduct the heat to the factory area with some heating equipment.
Okay, I'll take note. When I return, I'll do a cost estimate. I'll propose it to the board.
Great.
I'm leaving then.
Okay. Hey, Gao. You said Xiao Song is going on a business trip?
Yes. He's going to Beijing.
I haven't been informed of any ministry meeting lately.
Rich kid asked him to go there. According to the system Mr. Song made, the reasons for reimbursement of travel funds must be stated. It wasn't clear on the form his secretary submitted. I only asked when I found out.
Gao, the system must be strictly implemented. You did a good job.
Mr. Ma, we were longtime colleagues in Zongyuan. I've always found you quite admirable. I also hope Donghai Phase 2 will proceed according to your ideas.
Gao, what do you mean by all that?
The idea of introducing foreign capital to a key state-owned enterprise is bold. But if this proposal goes through, the nature and situation of Donghai will completely change.
Gao, I already told Mr. Song about this that day. I do have such political consciousness.
Director Lu's thinking is radical. When Phase 1 was launched, he started thinking about launching Phase 2. Mr. Song fully cooperates with him. And Mr. Song suddenly proposed trading equity for equipment. I think it's probably Director Lu's idea.
Gao, it's good that you consider the welfare of Donghai. But I think that your current concern is unnecessary. Our leaders look at the big picture. I'm sure they'll be considering the future of Donghai.
I got it. I'm leaving then.
Okay. Xiaosong,
Mr. Ma.
are you leaving for Beijing?
Yes, I was just about to apply for leave.
Let's go for a walk.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ma. Thank you for helping me submit my proposal to the ministry.
You should know that I'm not in favor of equity joint ventures.
That's why I thanked you.
Xiaosong, this is the proposal for the equipment procurement that Han worked very hard to come up with. Take a look. It's not quite as good as your preferred solution, but it's just enough for us. The design capacity is a little higher than what was planned. The point is, it's within the budget.
I still prefer the solution from the one from KDS.
Xiaosong, for the past 2 years, we've argued a lot, but ultimately, you and I fight alongside each other. We're considered teammates who know each other well. Well, I'm a technical layman myself, but I'm 20 years older than you after all. I have to remind you to show some manners.
Go ahead then.
For over a year, discussion on some major issues of principles like capitalism and socialism has never stopped being circulated. Since our leaders put me in this position, I still have to consider other various factors instead of just benefits. Donghai plant is a key enterprise of our ministries. You mustn't take such an aggressive approach.
There's already a precedent in Shanghai on equity collaborations with foreigners. It also exists in our system.
Xiaosong, we're different from foreign investors.
Mr. Ma, for Donghai Phase 1, due to many reasons, domestic equipment was chosen. I have regrets, and I know you do as well.
Yes. It hadn't been easy to launch. It's precisely because of this reason that we want to have stability in Phase 2. Xiaosong, you and I both work hard on the front line. You shouldn't be too idealistic.
Frankly, I'd rather take the risk than use second-rate equipment.
When you go to Beijing, are you meeting Director General Liu?
There's no specifics. The chemical department instructed me.
Director Liu is a senior leader of Donghai. Without his support, Donghai wouldn't be this great. But Xiaosong, even if Director Liu supports your proposal, my stance on this matter remains.
Thank you for being so frank. I don't intend to convince you either.
I'll be submitting Han's proposal tomorrow in the name of the factory of Donghai.
I don't object. We'll submit both proposals with different approaches and let the leaders decide.
Director Liu, Mr. Song's here.
Oh, let him in.
Director Liu,
When did you arrive? You should have let me arrange to pick you up.
I've been here before. I just took a taxi.
When you leave, you must let me arrange to see you off. Sit down.
I'll oblige you then, Director.
You should try my tea. A friend of mine sent it all the way from Zhejiang. It's the last batch of autumn tea. It leaves a sweet, lingering taste in the mouth. Savor it slowly.
I'm no tea expert, but this tastes really good. It smells great.
Here, take it. I don't have much. He only gave me 2 tins, but I'll give you one.
Thanks, Director.
When we're alone, just call me Rich Kid. See, this nickname was given to me by the educated youth when I joined their team. At that time, I'd recite English before going to work. I was always hindering them. Later, I told them that I was reciting Engel's quotes. They were all dumbfounded.
That's why we say knowledge is power.
By the way, you've completed the production task very well last year. My target was a 10% increase, and you achieved 20%. In terms of capacity, Donghai has attained the first-class level in the country. The ministry wants to commend you. That's why you're invited to Beijing.
The credit goes to all the employees of Donghai.
We're alone here, so be truthful.
What I said is absolutely true, sir. The cadres and employees have been working overtime all year. Even the technicians in the R&D department were from the front line. For the past year, everyone in Donghai has been working very hard.
You've worked hard then. Listen, let me help you fight for more independent sales quota. You should reward the workers on the front line too.
Thank you on behalf of everyone.
Oh, by the way, for the purchase of Phase 2 equipment, I've helped you to fight for an extra 1 million foreign exchange quota. That makes a total of 16 million. It's enough to buy the equipment. I have done my best to help you and Donghai.
Rich Kid, thank you for all you've done for Donghai. However, the price of the equipment we chose is somewhere around 23 million.
Comrade Song Yunhui, don't be overly ambitious. Believe me, you should take this one step at a time. Rome wasn't built in a day, you know?
Rich Kid, you're an expert leader who's tech-savvy, and you know how the industry works. I've always admired your strategic insight. I thought you would support my idea of trading equity for equipment.
Seeing that you and I are friends, I shall gladly accept your flattery. But I have a question. Why can't you just follow a conventional plan, import the mainframe from Japan, and localize auxiliary equipment? Why can't that work? Isn't that more advanced than the Phase 1 equipment?
The embargo was imposed during Donghai Phase 1. We were forced to fully localize the equipment. Product quality and potential for upgrades are far below the design goals. The technical equipment we chose from Japan supports the construction of Phase 2 and has the function of remedying what we lacked in Phase 1. But this equipment costs at least over 20 million to purchase.
Since you said I have strategic insight, I'll do my part and remind you this. Sometimes, compromising and settling for second best is better for the situation.
Rich Kid, with your insight, you should know very well that the fact that we can purchase equipment from Japan shows that the situation here and abroad is changing. China is preparing to open its doors. Today we can purchase Japanese equipment. Tomorrow there will be more overseas enterprises flocking to China with their sophisticated and advanced products. And you and I know that no one can stop this trend. When that happens, Donghai will face some competitors that are unthinkably cruel. I must purchase the most advanced, expensive equipment. I'm only planning ahead, Director.
From your standpoint, your consideration is in-depth. However, from my perspective, you're taking too big of a step. Xiao
Mr. Wang.
This is the prospectus of Sichu's Chemicals. Director Lu wants to take a look.
You should have called me to take it, sir. You didn't have to come.
I happen to have work. I report to Director Lu. Is he in?
He's still having an important meeting, sir. Why don't I call you when it ends?
All right. In that case, please just help me pass that to him.
Okay.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mr. Wang. This is a prospectus of Sichu Chemicals from Mr. Wang.
You may go.
Director Lu, when Phase 1 began production, you said to increase output. Many didn't understand why, but I still executed it. Because you said you wanted to build Donghai into a first-class enterprise. We can only gain the research funds and management experience by increasing the scale.
It doesn't matter if they don't understand. What's your take on it?
I think you're eager like me to make Donghai much bigger and much stronger.
That's right then. Actually, I know people have been talking behind my back about my dad retiring. As I'm anxious to get results, I decided to support Donghai and got you, Song Yunhui, to be my trusted aide. What a joke. An important reason why I joined the chemical industry is because I don't want to rely on my family. I want to realize my ideals through my own efforts. I can't choose my background and family, but I can choose the path that I want to take. Certainly, it's rather hypocritical to talk about ideals, but a laggard like me who joined the team halfway is indeed quite an idealistic person.
We have different backgrounds and experiences, but we could become good friends. Perhaps it's because we have a common ideal. We want China's chemical industry to catch up at all costs.
But ideals are always extravagant. If you want to hold on, you must be willing to pay the price that comes with it.
Is this price the compromise that you were talking about earlier? Do you want to give up on our equity for equipment plan?
Sit down. Recently, there have been voices from the ministries to open up the country and introduce foreign capital. They aren't mainstream, but they can't be ignored.
What's your attitude regarding these voices?
You know the kind of person I am. I'm considered open-minded in the system. I don't object to opening up, but Donghai can't be the test ground. Donghai is the youngest and most advanced in the system. It's a key enterprise that even the country pays attention to. Such an enterprise can't be a test ground. Once there's a conflict with a foreign party, the impact will be huge. For the system, the ministry, and Donghai, it's unfavorable. You'd think so too.
Crisis and opportunity are the unity of opposites. I'd rather take a risk than let Donghai lose its competitive edge in future competition.
Sure, you can take this risk, but can Donghai do so? Heed my advice. While the Japanese manufacturer is still keen, hurry and finalize the procurement proposal. With a conventional approach, Purchase the core equipment and localize auxiliary equipment. This is for the best.
Are you saying that this is an order from Director General Liu to a subordinate enterprise? Or are you saying this to persuade me as your friend?
I'm saying this as both.
This is my reply then. I'm going to carry out my work based on the actual situation and sustainable development.
I'll make my stance clear as well. Based on the actual situation, equipment procurement is the best option.
Please allow me to analyze your suggestion carefully. But the ultimate choice of Donghai in the future will be decided collectively by the ministry leaders and leaders of Donghai plant.
Come with me. Our chemical industry took nearly 40 years to attain the achievements we have today. It's a situation that had been developed by countless seniors. Major chemical companies abroad have taken over 100 years. Now, do you understand this whole gap?
What do you want to tell me by showing me these?
I want to tell you that your little idea and the big picture aren't on the same level at all.
What is the big picture about then?
As you know, opening up is the general trend. Maybe in 2 or 3 years, we'll be competing with these major chemical companies from abroad. And this competition isn't going to be fair to us at all. Industry standards, intellectual property, including the logic and regulations in the international market are all in their hands. They've had over 100 years of experience. If we venture out in our current state to compete with them based on the laws they have made themselves, we're going to face a very quick defeat.
We aren't divided in our understanding.
But we're divided in the way we deal with it. You want to introduce foreign capital and use their capital and technical equipment to produce the so-called advanced products to compete with their parent companies in their home countries. If this approach was truly feasible, then the Third World would never have become the Third World. The standards for these equipment are now still in their hands. Yes, they can provide you with first-class machines. Once you use them, you depend on them. And then if they place any random restriction, you'll be at their mercy.
That kind of thing is inevitable with equipment procurement too. If they really want to play tricks, they can do so in the after-sales area. As you said, the main trend of the times is always win-win cooperation.
Fine. So tell me then, after collaboration in Phase 2, what volume will we have? But BP, Total Energies, ExxonMobil, and Marital next to these big companies, the volume is insignificant.
If it's based on what you said, no domestic enterprise can compete with them.
Yes, as of right now, no one can. Chemical enterprises will only somehow manage to survive in the international market using industry chain models such as upstream energy and materials, midstream chemical production, as well as downstream sales outlets. This is how each of these large international companies developed. And the big picture is to merge Donghai, Beijing, and Changjiang, these enterprises, into a corporate giant that can compete against all of these overseas corporate giants.
But these aren't all directly under the ministry. Some belong to local corporations, some belong to other ministries. This merger involves way too many parties.
Situ Chemicals will be listed early next month. It's a merger of 7 enterprises across different ministries and different regions.
Do you mean Donghai may also merge with other chemical enterprises soon?
It still isn't on the agenda yet, but the leaders are very concerned about this operation. This model will build a large-scale enterprise in the whole chemical industry and avoid repeated construction and consumption in different ministries, commission and regions, and also revitalize stagnant enterprises.
Indeed. This is a good thing for the country and the people. But why didn't you tell me earlier?
Situ is a merger of small and medium enterprises. Donghai is different. It's a key enterprise. The impact will be huge. Those to be merged with Donghai are also big taxpayers from various regions and ministries. It may take 2 to 3 years to complete all the procedures needed to be prepared. Before the leaders make a final decision about this, I couldn't just tell anyone. Otherwise, we'll be in a passive position. And now you know the real reason why I oppose the introduction of foreign capital. Donghai's nature of business will change once foreign capital has been introduced. If we want to merge and restructure by then, the process will be very troublesome. We already have enough problems to settle in such a big project. So don't add any more trouble.
Rich kid, it might not be trouble. Currently, the merger plan has yet to be launched. So that means Donghai still has at least 2 to 3 years to develop. 3 years later, when the merger plan begins, I can assure you that the best assets of Donghai will be spun off and handed over to the state to form a large corporation. I can do this by controlling the proportion of equity transferred during the negotiation and stating the equity repurchase clause clearly in the contract.
You can't even lower the price of the equipment. What makes you think that the Japanese will make major concessions in equity collaboration? Your intention is good, but an idea can only be great when it can be implemented. To compete with these overseas giants in the international market, you have to be a corporate giant as well. I haven't convinced you, have I? You know, I could have used an administrative order to veto your proposal. But I didn't do any of that because I appreciate the spirit you tirelessly give the enterprise. I didn't want to dampen your motivation. I know you're persistent, but I do hope your persistence can be used in the right place.
Are you seated?
Yes, I am.
What a rare guest, Xiao Song.